Yes guys, welcome back to the channel today. Thank you for coming along to join me for this drive. Yeah, we're gonna get straight into it. So today, first of all, I want to say everyone who has been watching the videos, thank you for that. It's much appreciated. As I always say, well, I try to say as much as I can. I'm just trying this out. I'm seeing how it goes, seeing if I can do anything with it. If you like the content, I'm glad. Let me know, please. If not, I understand. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, today I wanted to get into the new rule change that's coming into football next season, and kind of discussing some possible rules that we could see in the future as well. Maybe any improvements that I could think of, maybe that football could do with, and maybe just the ramifications of these rule changes that are coming in. So if you have been living on the rock and you don't know about this rule change, basically from next season, what's going to happen is goalkeepers who only get 8 seconds to hold onto the ball. If they hold it to any longer than 8 seconds, a corner kick is awarded to the opposition. So obviously at the moment, keepers still have the rule in place, technically a similar rule in place now, where it's 6 seconds and an indirect free kick. But it's not really enforced. Like, you see goalkeepers time wasting a lot. Ben Foster was talking about it on his channel, how he used to be the king of time wasting. And it's never really punished. You might get the odd yellow card when it's completely obvious, like the goalkeeper moves the ball to the other side of the penalty box or whatever for a goal kick. But this is when the ball's in play, they'll have 8 seconds to kick it, basically. So yeah, I want to have a quick look at the ramifications of that, really. Bloody cars. Honestly, I think I say it every Monday night when I film these videos, driving to London. If you drive in London, I feel your pain, and I hope you feel mine, because it's a nightmare with some of the drivers. First of all, are just absolute, like, they're just absolute, yeah. And then some people are just so stupid sometimes. Like, you see the car on the road and you just don't think, oh, I'm gonna walk really slow in front of this car and see what happens. Like, honestly, I don't understand what people like. They just don't value their lives, clearly. Anywho, enough ranting about driving in London. Being there, done that. Yeah, rule change. So they trialled this new rule across 400 matches, I think. Maybe at amateur level and pro, I think. And a corner was awarded, I believe, 4 times. So that's 1 in 100 matches. So put that across the season, you're going to see it approximately 4 times in the Premier League next season. It's going to happen. But the thing with the Premier League is they swing hot and cold with their rule changes. So that I think Gary Neville's mentioned it before, and it sounds stupid, but it makes sense. Like, there's a high bar for this thing. Like, let's say VAR. Oh, there's a really high bar, so we can't overturn it. You know, we're going to be really strict. No, it's a high bar. And then they'll get a decision wrong because they're on a high bar when it, like, should have been a penalty or something. So they're like, okay, cool, no, we'll lower the bar now, we'll lower it. And then they give, like, really soft ones. And there's never, like, that consistency in between. So what you're going to see next season, I think, at the start of it, they're going to be really strict. They're going to be hot, and they're going to be saying, look, keepers, keep it to 8 seconds or you will get cornered. I think in the first 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe a bit more, maybe the first month or 2, you'll see quite a few. I think you might see maybe 1 or 2 a weekend, probably, because the refs will be hot on it. They'll be warning the players, like, look, we're going to be hot on it. And then what's going to happen is people are going to start timing it. They're going to be like, oh, you'll see on Monday Night Football next season, they'll be having counts of the keepers holding the ball, and it'll go just over 8 seconds. They'll be like, oh, it's over 8 seconds, should be a corner. Or it'll be something like that, where the keeper's kicked it long all of a sudden, but he's had the ball in his hand for 8.5 seconds, and the ref should have given the corner, or something like that's going to happen. And then they're going to raise the bar, and all of a sudden it's going to be, oh, it has to be bang on 8 seconds, and they'll call one that's literally maybe it's 8 seconds, but the keeper hasn't actually kicked it. It's dropped out of his hands, but he hasn't actually kicked it. So what I'm interested to see as well with this rule is, I know it's out of his hands in 8 seconds. Does it count when the ball is on the ground? Because that will be interesting to see if it counts when the ball's on the ground or not. I assume it doesn't. I'm assuming it doesn't. but then that surely takes it. I guess you can't count that. But let's say like it's about to hit 8 seconds. The keeper's counted 8 seconds. They've dropped it on the ground. Like, and then they go and score from it. They'll be outraged because it's been it's over 8 seconds. They held it for 8.2 seconds, stuff like that. But I can guarantee you there will be counts next season, and the analysis of how long a keeper's held the ball for at some point. It's almost a guarantee in my head. Is the rule change needed? No. I think it's the answer. I think they're focusing on the complete wrong stuff, if I'm honest with you. They're fixing things that just don't need to be fixed. I'm looking at stuff which they should be bringing in, which is to help the referee more. You know, the lines on the outside of the pitch, so letting the ref know if the ball's in or out. That should be coming in before anything else, really. Like, they've changed a lot of stuff which just hasn't needed changed. Like, they changed kickoffs, for example, like, I don't know, what, 10 years ago, whatever it is, where it's just one person to kick off now. I get it. Was it needed? Probably not. The wall change was good. Goal technology was good. But there's just weird stuff coming, like, that they think that's improving the game. And I know why they're doing it. They're trying to make it more entertaining. The whole reason behind this is to make it more entertaining, to Americanize the sport more. And I probably sound like a right boomer right now, but the sport's already entertaining enough. You do not need to go and chuck in this new rule change. It's like Kings League or Baller League or something like that. Like, you just created a random rule. Like, I don't know how they've even thought this rule. They've just gone, you know what we see way too much is keepers hold the ball on for too long. We should go. I bet they started with, they should get a penalty. It's like, can't do a penalty. Penalty's too much. What's next? Indirect free kick we've already done. Direct free kick would be too much again because it's basically a penalty. Let's go for a corner. That's what they'll do. And it's like, it makes no sense. If they wanted to do this, they should have enforced the 6-second rule better, because that everyone knows that rule, and it's actually, I actually don't mind the rule because it makes people think, oh yeah, like, fair enough. It's like a back pass rule. Like, eventually they'll bring in like the 5-a-side rule of like, if you kick it to your defender, you can't kick it straight at your keeper. It has to go to like another defender and then back to him. Like, they focus on the wrong stuff. I just don't get it half the time. I think one rule which could actually be beneficial that's coming in soon is, I think it's Arsene Wenger's offside rule. I think he's edited it. So originally the offside rule was going to be, if you're in line with the defender, you're onside. I think that's what originally it was. That's originally what he came up with, and that, I actually didn't mind it. You know, give the advantage to the attacker. But the thing is, because of the way VAR is now, can people talk on the road? Yeah, the way VAR is now, that will still create issues. That won't fix the problem, because it's literally going to be like, there's like a piece of daylight like that much. He's definitely offside. You'll still have the toenail issues and stuff. So I think it was a nice idea. I think he realised it wouldn't work, so he's actually adapted to that now. And he's changed it to if your torso or below, so basically if your legs are onside. No, I think it might be your upper body actually. I think I've got that wrong. I think it's the other way around. I think the rule states, I'm pretty certain it rule states you're allowed to have your legs offside. If I'm not going mental, I think it said if your upper body is onside, you're fine. So basically it's trying to get rid of the toenail issue where like someone's toes offside. But if they're like chest, like if they're side on and this half of their body's offside, the player's offside. Which again, I don't mind that rule. It means if someone's like leaning forward and their core's above is in the offside position and they're offside. Again, I don't mind the rule as long as as long as they iron out the details of it. I think that can be a quite effective rule, because they need to sort out the offsides. Like, the Premier League they can't do it. They just can't do it. They've tried these automated offsides and that doesn't seem to work either. So they need to figure out a way of sorting these offsides out, because The experience in the stadium is just crap. I'm not going to lie. I've been to quite a few games this season now, and I hadn't been to too many before that with VAR. I think I'd been to maybe one, or I don't think I'd actually been to one for a couple of years before VAR. And it's just crap. Like, they do not tell you what is going on. And obviously they're bringing in the whole ref can speak on the microphone to the crowd, and it's like, that helps, doesn't fix it, because the issue is when the goal does go in or whatever, that you have no idea what's going on when they pause the game, so no one's speaking to you, and then they speak to you afterwards. It's like, okay, cool, but I had no idea. You know, we've still celebrated this goal, and then you feel like you can't celebrate. Like, it's ridiculous. But the thing is with VAR, it's one of those things. Once you've opened the box, you can't put it back in. You can't put it back in. Like, we've created this mess, and we've got to live with it now. We've got to try and make the best of it. I hate VAR. I'm not gonna lie. I thought at first maybe it might be better, but I think I quickly realised it's just crap. Like, it just takes away from the whole experience. It's taken the magic of celebrating a goal away. Like, it could be the easiest sweaty goal, ball's gone back, like basic stuff. You know, they're like, oh, was there a foul in the build-up somewhere? You know, was he offside about 30 seconds before? Like, it ruins it. It wasn't brought in for the fans. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't brought in for the fans. And at the end of the day, you need the fans on side. So, yeah, the rules coming in are very odd. Some of them is basically what I'm trying to say. And the sport is getting more and more Americanized for the pure purpose of entertainment. I've seen now that, this is a completely separate note, but the first North London derby ever is going to be abroad. When I first saw that, I can't lie, I was really worried it was going to be a league game or something like that. Luckily it's just a pre-season game, so I'm fine with that. But I really thought for a second, I was like, oh, is that going to be a league match? Because if that's a league match, I'm going to have a meltdown over that. And I think Arsenal fans all over the world will be like, well, what the hell is this? I understand the whole point that these clubs are international, and they obviously have fans all over the world that they want to go see and show off the club to. But at the end of the day, they're a fan of this club because they're playing in this league in this country. Like, I don't agree with the Spanish league going off to Saudi Arabia, or you'll see it in America soon or something like that. Like, I don't agree with that at all. I think fans are fans of your team because they play in the league you're in and the country you're in. Go on your tours in the summer, you know, that's what they're there for. Go out to Hong Kong, go to Australia, go to America. But the thing is, you never see them go to South America. There are fans out there, but you never see them go to South America. Why not? Because there's nothing in it for the clubs. You know, they don't make any money off of that. It's just about the money with this stuff. I'm getting on a complete tangent with this, but maybe it's just a bit of a random video about football, really. But yeah, that's a completely separate note. Back onto the goalkeeper rule. Now, being a goalkeeper myself in five-a-side, or six-a-side, sorry, there's obviously, it doesn't really apply to me, but I do kind of feel for keepers because their job is pretty much already. I still said the keeper's got the hardest job on the pitch, because one mistake and they've had a bad game. Like, it doesn't matter what they do, they could make outrageous saves. If they take Alisson against PSG, made unbelievable saves in that game. If he'd have spilled one in his own net or played a shocking pass in like the 90th minute and PSG scored from it, all of a sudden all those great unbelievable saves I've forgotten about in an instant. So I already think they had the hardest position in the team, and they're just amplifying it now. So I do kind of feel for them. It's just another thing they're going to have to think about in the game, and you're going to see a lot of flustered keepers at first, having a bit of a panic. Oh, is it enough time? Obviously the rival fans are going to get onto it. You're going to see players, I think you're going to see opposition players calling for the referee to give the corners. They're going to be shouting for them. think you're going to be seeing Arsenal absolutely screaming at refs for corners, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe it's going to make keepers play long more, because obviously they can't. Because if you got to think about it, if you do this tactically, as a team setting up against another team. If you press high, the keeper cannot release that ball to a defender realistically. He just can't do it. If you go man for man, he cannot, with confidence, give that ball to a defender, because he's just going to get crunched from behind. So you could end up seeing actually a more direct game. Whether that's better or not remains to be seen. It might make it more interesting and more varied, and actually don't mind if it does get a bit more like that, but it's going to be something that teams are going to play on, and I think teams should play on it. You know, they should make a point of it now. If they're going to bring it in, take advantage of it. It's like I said, it's going to be very unclear. There's going to be teething issues. There always is with these things. So expect a big flurry of them at the start of the season. Expect them to cool off, and expect them to be a flurry again. That's how it always works. There's never any consistency with these things, so there's no reason for there to be any more going forward. In terms of rules that I could probably think of, like I said, I actually don't mind the game the way it is, as stupid as that sounds. I'm more interested in rules off the field, to be honest. I think the financial rules at the moment need to be changed. I think they're very much outdated. They need to change that, because it's putting teams like Aston Villa, Newcastle, even Man United to an extent. Like, obviously, we have our fun with Man United. You know, take the piss a little bit. They can't go back to how they were. But at the end of the day, they are a big club, and the fact that they can't put money into their own club, even though they're the biggest club in the world, is just ridiculous. So I think the financial rules need to be changed in the Premier League going forward. I think what the FIFA need to do, stop being corrupt first of all. Had to get the little thing in there. Ensure the quality of football remains high across the world. I think that's the main thing they need to focus on. They need to stop focusing on these little tiny rules, because the game's already basically perfect. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything else about the game now. I don't think this rule even needs to come in. But as FIFA, I'd scrap VAR, but probably that's not going to happen. So if that's not going to happen, then they've got to do everything in their power to ensure an equal playing field across the globe. I look at like AFCON. Obviously, we had the whole Jamie Carragher debacle with the AFCON, and it put a lot of spotlight on it. I think that's something FIFA need to put more emphasis on. I think it does get forgotten about, and wrongfully so. You know, I think the Copa America and the Euros get a lot more attention. Now, obviously, being in Europe, it makes sense that maybe Euros get some more attention here, but AFCON should get just as much attention as South America does. Like that makes no sense, especially with the amount of African players that play in the Premier League nowadays, and of a very high standard in the Premier League. Like they're literally providing entertainment in this league week in, week out. And the same across Europe. It's not like it's just in the Prem. It's in Spain as well. They're playing, and it's like it needs more attention, and that's what they should be focusing on more, instead of these little tiny rules that they're trying to change and just pick at. Like, go look at the big picture. Stop going for these little minuscule things. Think of the big picture, and yeah, like I said, ensure a level playing field for all countries. Because at the end of the day, if they put more into AFCON, they put more into the Asia Cup or whatever, it's going to make World Cups more interesting. And if World Cups are more interesting, they'll get more money. So they if they're driven by money, they should be thinking, oh, we need to make every country as good as, I don't know, like a Mexico, or they need to make them as competitive as these guys who always get out of their groups or whatever. They need to make them as good as Uruguay or something. Because at the end of the day, they need these countries, you know. they need these countries to be competitive and not just be a walkover. Like, they're expanding the World Cup, and eventually we're going to reach like a 48 team World Cup. And like, I look at World Cup qualifying now, and you look in South America, right? For example, South America World Cup qualifying used to arguably be the toughest route to qualify for a World Cup would be in South America, because it was so competitive. I think it might have only been 4 teams that qualified at one point. But you got Argentina, Brazil, who basically always qualify, Colombia, Uruguay, Chile, Ecuador, Venezuela. Like, these were all teams who had good players at one point or another. I've probably forgotten 1 or 2 there. But these guys always had good teams. And now I look at it, it's like 6 teams can go through, and it's just, they're just playing. It's taken the meaning out of the games a little bit, I think. Maybe they disagree with me in South America. You know, I don't know. I don't know many Brazilians or Argentinians who play football, but I think it devalues it a little bit. At least it would do for me. If I'm seeing England play Germany every 6 months, like, yeah, but that's just me. Like I said, my big thing with FIFA is that they need to give more attention to the overall picture of the game. Otherwise, I think that they leave the game as it is. I think it works well. Like, it has done for 150 years or whatever, however long it's been around for now. It's coming up to 150 years probably through the game, yeah. I think it's 125 actually. But yeah, like, leave it as it is. Don't touch it. Just leave it. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you guys for coming along today. Listen to hear me talk about absolute nonsense basically for whatever, 20 odd minutes. Get me basically home. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed, and come join me for the next one if you can. In a bit. Peace.